Hi Libra, and welcome to Is There X Coming Back series for this month. Let's jump right in. For those of you who are the first time here, this is only for the people who still feel the pull toward a person, or they feel there is a pull coming toward them. We are going through Mercury retrograde. It can be very, very strong over here. The cards that you see on the table are going to be identical in all the readings because they're called significators, and this means that I had to figure out the combination of what categories I need in order to give you a pretty accurate answer. You can go on my website, as you can see it on the screen, like in the left corner over here somewhere, cattarot.ca, and you can kind of get more detailed description. I'm going to just tell you quickly. This is going to talk about if this relationship is ever a starter. This is going to tell me what needs to be fixed, even if I see, hey, that can go forward, right? These are significators, either or can be you, because we have viewers, we have cross watchers, and we have people of different signs, and they're checking different planets, which is also good to check your ascendant and moon sign. The communication between the two of you, what is karma saying, that kind of like you're working on at this time and dealing with, and the next steps. I don't really read them one by one because that's how you can tell a bad tarot reader. If you just go card by card, yeah, you may have seen, it's almost like watching a movie or going to theater and you see a scene and it's fantastic, but behind the scenes is what basically you see if something was fake. Maybe something was just propped. Maybe it was like film in front of the green screen. That's kind of like the stuff that you really need to know how to connect, and that's only when you can read like 2 cards together, 3 cards, 7, 20, 30 cards together, and for that it really takes time to really know kind of like to get there. So let's start. Libra. So let's see, the first row is 10 of Pentacles. You have 4 of Wands, which is one of my significators. We have 3 of Wands right next to it. You have 9 of Swords. Wheel of Fortune, which is one of my karma cards. So that's a karmic soulmate, most likely. Ace of Pentacles. Look at this, 9, 10, 1. Lovely. I don't know if it's lovely for you. And Hermit. The Hermit showing up here. So you guys might be dealing with fire signs or earth signs, or you might be dealing possibly even air signs, but you might be dealing in particular also with Scorpio, with Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. This person that you are probably inquiring about has been going through something in their life. Maybe they are even having mental health issues such as depression, I would say. But I also see bipolar over here. Somebody who can appear to be moody and swing between, it doesn't have to be bipolar 1, can be bipolar 2, where the mood changes are not as extreme and where they're not as psychotic, right? And this kind of like was a confusion for you. Some of you here are inquiring about somebody who maybe you live with together. Maybe you hope to live together, because that's why this 10 of Pentacles is showing up. Maybe somebody whom you felt it's a good fit. You can work with this person because something, let's say home, is that you have in common, or how you do things is what you have in common. How you want to continue doing things is something that you have in common. The problem here is that it seems like there was like a pull. You know, the tidal wave goes forward, but then it pulls and then comes back even stronger, crashing down, right? I kind of like see that over here, because clearly almost looks like there was a direction. We are going in this direction. This is what they want. But there was a pullback to, oh geez, you know, Let's kind of like maybe restart this all over again. Actually, this is not a bad idea. I really think this kind of like works. Three of Wands is about looking at things. What is the big picture? What is the big perspective? How things can work out? In which direction? I also think this is that hopefulness and everything going on. So I see one partner being relatively pleased and happy, and the other partner seemingly needs to work on their own issues in order for them to be happy, in order for them to be stabilized. Because it's really interesting, because the Judgment is talking about Ace of Pentacles. I absolutely love this ace. This to me is like talking about, almost like to me that shows marriage, where it shows this like kind of like arch over here full of apples, right? So there you go ahead, consummate, move forward. And then we have the flowers, which kind of like you usually get in the wedding ceremonies. And there's like appearing out of nowhere a possibility. You had 10 of Pentacles, so again, as I was saying, it's kind of backward. You're going from 4 to 3, and we're going from 10 to 1. But 10 to 1 can actually work, because that's where the cyclical nature is. After 10, it starts 1 in tarot, right? So both of them are very positive, and it says clearly to me that something has to be rebuilt, could be rebuilt. But there are like issues over here. Issues that somebody, I would say, there are like some collective issues, which is kind of like both of you kind of like creating these nightmares, indecisions. I would also say there is a big confusion over here happening if there is no mental issue. And one person really need to figure out what the heck they want, right? Look at that. He has the Hermit, the star over here. Hermit usually represents Virgo. And it talks about organized nature, but it also talks about looking inside. All the answers that he needs to have are inside. So somebody needs to do some kind of like soul searching over here. And then we also have this pattern from 10 to 9. Look at me, how like they're mirroring. 10, 1, 10, 9, right? 9, 10, 1. It's kind of like moving it forward, but then again, somebody would need to jump really, really high from 1 to 9. This is not normally how things are done, because I really think that you are just not on the same page, that you are just in two different, not necessarily viewpoints, but stages of life. And sometimes that sucks. You meet your soulmate, which kind of like I see that, a karmic soulmate, and then I'm getting Mercury retrograde showing up on my screen, asking me to restart the computer. Like, no, this is important thing. This is your karmic soulmate, which means you may have been their karmic soulmate, or they could have been yours, or vice versa. Both of them could be at the same time, which happens really, really frequently. But sometimes people just say, okay, fine, I'll show up, I'll help you move, kind of a thing, but then I'm gone. Kind of that could be just somebody who is basically pedestrian in your life. They're not there to stay. And I kind of like see that with this card over here, that they are shifting. So the question is like where they will shift. What's going to happen next? Look, we're having another 9 of Wands. How interesting that we have the star, because you see you have 10, 3 and a 4, which is 17, which is this card. And he has the star in his lantern. It's connecting. The Devil. It's another karma card over here. Look at this. We're going from 9 to 1, which also works. You can go to 10, but you can go straight from 9 to 1. That's kind of like when you walk in a room and you see the human resources. I don't know if you haven't been fired. I have been. And then they're trying to give you a spiel. It's okay, just tell me what it is. Well, we are laying you off. The whole department is going off. You already know, so that's when you're jumping over that 10 stage and you're wondering, okay, so let's not pretend about anything over here. And you are air sign, you are kind of like able to really quickly shift the gear like that. Now, this becomes really interesting over here. Because you see, the 17 was over here, and I was not able to determine, are you hopeful or are you not hopeful? Clearly, I wanted to see that there's like willingness to move forward. There's either lots of sex, guys, or, you know, that you don't really want something serious, that you are maybe not thinking about something moving serious. And that's maybe because maybe you're losing a faith in this relationship. Maybe you're saying, okay, well, while you're seeking yourself and searching yourself, what do I do? How do I go with this? Like, I mean, I put up with you about so many things because look at this, is 9 and 9 and 9. You see, they are being linked here. And then what? And getting all bruised and wrinkled and tired, and you are like looking for yourself. I have a friend, Fernanda, and she has a friend who is living with this dude who is a musician. And the musician is hoping that he's going to be famous, and this is going on 5 or 6 or 7 years, and Fernanda's friend is supporting him. And one day I heard Fernanda yelling. She said, you need to wake up, you need to wake up. Why can't he have another job while he has his dream? Like, you have a job. And that's pretty much, I laughed because she got upset because she cares. And you are getting sucked into something here. They're rebuilding themselves, sure. They are rebuilding themselves. There are lots of good things happening, but this is talking about cutting karmic ties. This is not love, but many people interpret this as love. Why? Because it's almost like it's identical to the Lover's card, except the chains, except the ugly dude with like weird fingers here, right? It could be that physicality is a very strong part of your relationship. It could be that you feel dependent on this person, or there could be some other issues like an alcohol and stuff included, right? Could be a whole bunch of stuff. Are they coming through? Seemingly yes, but you know what? It's kind of weird. They either want to be left alone, and now there's a whole bunch of stuff coming through, and maybe they're going to come with a story, oh, good old times and blah 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 blah. And you're going to scratch your head like with WTF. What do you mean? We are headed. We were heading somewhere. So maybe, and this is Mercury retrograde, guys. So it can be so freaking weird, right? When you get into this and, well, you know, I have to check my old partner because, you know, he or she was my soulmate. I had a friend, I had past tense, because he and I dated and didn't work out, but then we stayed friends, and for a long time. And he dated this like really nice girl. I never met her, but he was talking about her all the time, and I thought she's freaking fantastic. So he finally, I think it was 6 or 7 years, decided that he's going to basically, you know, propose to her. And oh my gosh, the preparation. If you're interested, he's Pisces and she was Aquarius. Preparations and stuff. He's the slowest freaking person on the planet, right? And so the next day he's not calling, he's not letting me know. The day after, like 7 days passes by, I'm thinking, okay, well, they're just enjoying kind of like honeymoon bliss already. Finally he calls back and he says, I'm not marrying her, it's just not meant to be. I said, what, she rejected you? He said, no, I was there with the ring, and she started cussing me and everything that I didn't do right, and and I was ready to propose to her. So what basically stopped you and pulling the string and saying, well, I finally got it, yes, here it is, this is what I wanted to make it work. Well, this is not meant what is meant to be, right? And it's simply when people are fundamentally different. So when Aquarians start to complain, Aquarians, very much like Librans, we are basically liking the person. And that's why most people don't understand air signs. Because if we don't like the person, we don't know who they are, we are going to say nothing. We just don't want to communicate with them, right? But when we complain, then yeah, we are kind of like pushing it forward. We want to improve this. I want you to be around me. But this person over here is going to complain in a different way. They're going to say that maybe somebody else was better, etc., etc. And you're going to feel weirded out about that. This is, again, I see this like soul contract over here. But there is like a possibility of that things can actually work out. With this Mercury retrograde, gosh, it's a difficult time. I'll be busy like crazy with this one. You know what? There's like something you guys need to see. It's like the tower is showing up in the category of what needs to be glued. That's never a good thing. Like there is like, I mean, precipice, and people are telling it's a precipice, but you're like, la 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 la, no it's not, no it's not, la la la. Okay, you're going to fall. No amount of wishful thinking, no amount of praying, no amount of nothing will help you. So maybe like you are just spinning out of control with this person. Maybe you're involving yourself in, honestly, I said mental issues, but this also can talk about addictions, guys. It can talk about anything. We all have addictions. So sure, there are some main ones: cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, prescription medications, but it could be working too much, it could be cheating too much, because to me usually when this card shows up, that kind of like talks about our ex-partners. It talks about also their ex-partners. You finally think you have something right, you're dating a dude, like two of these guys, like my friend, right, Lance, he's dating this chick, and they have something, obviously they wouldn't stay 6-7 years together, and then bring up, well, but I don't know if I'm still in love with so and so, blah 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 blah. Jesus, grow up. So many people basically jump in a relationship before the other partner is done thinking through it. Men are notorious for it. They heal the pain with immediately involving themselves in the relationship, and they want to win. Meaning, I want to kind of like show this person I'm married, I'm this, and many people are left behind crying because they do it. You are trusting them, you're enjoying the attention, but then eventually they need to face the music. And I'm kind of like seeing something like that here. Look, losing the control. So there we have now 3 sixes, right? So there is like a clearly karmic soulmate, guys, happening. We have Queen and King of Pentacles. This is supposed to be something very solid, very strong, if it is to move forward. Because there are like lots of troubled waters, and somebody needs to stop deciding to come in and out of this relationship. Somebody needs to understand that you need to kind of like have control over things you're doing, about who you are, about what you're doing. This is what is wanted. Maybe you are going to be saying this, you're putting your foot down. Look, I need something solid. The third parties and other people, and you controlling me. Maybe like there's like somebody who is like an old school. Hello, tell them that this is 2019, and there are like still countries in the world where he can apply his old school, and wish him well as he travels out of our country. But if he wants to stay here, he needs to kind of like turn on the radio and figure it out, basically, that I thought maturity that he was dealing with over here. So there is like this transition. There's like something, there are like new goals. And these new goals are like kind of like, are you going to be a person? Are you going to be a man? Are you going to be a woman that I think you are? Are we going to be able to build this? Because I'm seeing these trees over here, right? So it's kind of like going to be interesting, because you also, guys, need to deal on your own stuff. Like, I mean, at which point are you putting your head in the sand? Like, I mean, what is it that you should see? Like, what is it that you're really dealing with? Is this love? Is this love? Remember the song? Because look at all of these strong cards that are all of a sudden showing up with karma cards, which kind of like, look, karma card, which is significator, cutting down to a new start. But it's warning you, this new start with this and with this. It's telling you, you need to rebuild. Somebody cannot have control over you like that. You need to set your goals, and you need to get out of these troubled waters into something else. Will problems continue? Yep, they'll continue. That's why they have these pricked swords in the bottom of this like boat. That's not the best way to go forward. But they're hoping that the issues will be resolved. and mended and healed. And that's kind of like the moral of the story. And these two cards are very similar. This is like where somebody's heading toward the goals, and this is like where you hit the wall. And you hit the wall and you break everything apart. It's when we lose jobs, it's when we kind of lose relationships, etc. Also, we're going from 15 to 16 over here. So when you don't really realize and you don't tend to your own issues, then something really steps in and helps. And then it's like 17. Like, it's going back and forth. So this card clearly can also mean anxiety, that, you know, wishful thinking is one thing, but what will happen is another. So you need to kind of like be able to ground yourself in this respect. So my dear Libra, this is a good time for you to get your own reading. So you can either get this reading, which is on a special for $50, but since you have karma card here, and this karma is saying somebody's turning their karma forward, and they need to kind of like get and kind of like land on their feet. But you also are dealing with this, especially if you're a woman, you might be dealing with this codependency where, you know, somebody just walks away looking for themselves and you want them more. So that can be codependency, right? And you need to overcome that and need to kind of like move it in a better direction, because moving in a new direction is going to get you exactly what you want right now, but not before you do that. And through my reading you can find out how. So that's enough for now. Like, you can see all the social medias, I hope to see you there. It will be fun, and monthlies are coming soon, and hopefully, you know, I'm going to see you there as well. Love you guys. Bye.